So the signals during the election, through the transition, and the beginning of this administration have not been positive from the perspective of environmental stewardship.
They deny climate change is a real threat. Their pressure on keeping fossil fuels as a thriving market, pulling out of the Paris Agreement.
That said, I think that we've already learned that this is an administration that's in a state of flux, where positions are evolving, and so it's not entirely clear what this administration wants to do and also what it can do.
What I'm not that worried about is, one, coal coming back. Coal is by far one of the worst fossil fuels. A lot of people outside of the government don't think that it's a reasonable investment at this time.
And a lot of reasons that people say don't worry about this administration is because the train has left the station. In a lot of ways that feels true. Industry is on board, many states are on board, but I don't think we can take that for granted. So I think we have to be very concerned about this administration through its statements and through its actions which downplay potential risks of climate change or which exaggerate the cost of addressing it, that they could start to push the needle back.
I'm not a fan of his environmental policies, but also supposing 4 years will be it. That's not a crazy long time, and something like the EPA doesn't just change overnight. There are a ton of people in that agency dedicated to providing climate change science and information.
One positive, I would say, that's come out of this administration is the impact that's had on people who think about the best way to engage in environmental and climate issues, in that it's really forced us to recognize that this is an issue that has to be addressed at various scales. That's not to say that federal action is not important and that we can't be pushing for that, but we're really broadening the playing field right now because of the apparent lack of will in Washington.
So I've been president of Students for Environmental Action this is my second year. So that's a kind of broad environmental group. I've also been part of Refuel Our Future, which is a fossil fuel divestment campaign. And we think that it's unjust for a university that prides itself on being a leader in public health to be directly investing in companies that profit off the degradation of our environment. A student can stay involved by just being aware. I think that's really important right now with the current administration, not to just kind of tune out, which is really tempting to do when it seems like every time you open your news app and it's some new horrible thing. But I would say just stay aware, because that's how you stay motivated. Second of all, there is, especially for environmental action, there is stuff that you can do on the day-to-day. Just think about how your daily life could be more sustainable. Commuting, getting a reusable water bottle, maybe using public transportation more, cutting down red meat consumption. Also, come to our events. Even if you don't want to be a super active member of the club, come to our protests, come to our learning days, and just know more about the issue. And also, even if you're really dedicated to some other facet of activism, then think about how that intersects with environmentalism. Climate change will disproportionately impact women and people of lower socioeconomic status, and these are really serious issues that need to be tackled. So think about the intersection of environmentalism and other areas that you may be really interested in.